Hello and welcome to Good Games Well Played, episode 250. I'm Clint, aka JCM. With us this week is Isli
Yo,
and Messiah.
Hello.
It was funny. I was looking at our podcast hosting site, and it's like, oh, congrats on 250 episodes last week. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, that was episode 249. But we had a one-off episode that I did all about fitness stuff like way back. So it
Oh.
counted that one as 250. But this is the 250th of the main show.
what do you have planned for us?
Nothing special. Just the normal stuff. Secretly, I got some old gaming execs we're going to talk and interview, and yada yada, and bring back on
Yeah.
all the old people who used to be on when we started. Oh wait, it was us the whole time. The old versions of us. Let's go back
If
Cringe.
to
only.
2020.
So I was like cringe. I'm like, yeah, I'll go back. I'll go back in time. Sure.
But yeah, we have some surprising news this week. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate prices are being reduced effective immediately.
First
They are
time ever.
dropping from $30 down to $23 for Game Pass Ultimate on console, and PC Game Pass is being reduced from $16.50 to $14. Now, this isn't a full reversal of the price hike they did previously, because that went from $20 to $30 for Game Pass Ultimate on console. So it's still of the old price, it's still $3 more, and then the PC Game Pass is still just a couple bucks more than what it was. That was $12, and now it's $14
I
dollars.
mean,
So still $2 increase of what it used to
Game
be.
Pass Game Pass by itself was always like something that people got because it was supposed to be the cheaper alternative to just buying the games, and they definitely raised it enough that it was like, well, might as well just buy the games. So, I'm not surprised they're lowering it.
Well, it's
Mhm.
also it was an insane. I mean, this was what 6 months ago that the price hike. It was October 1st. Uh,
Something like that,
Like,
yeah.
that's that is the day I just looked up in the article. A 50% increase in price. I'm going from 20 to 30 is an insane jump. Like, normally when a subscription service increases, it's typically for the highest version of whatever it is, like maybe $3 or something. And then like the
Mhm.
ad-free version or the ad version will be like, a dollar. Like, it's a couple bucks. You're not jumping $10 from 20 to 30. That's insane. That's what was like an increase is expected, not a $10 increase. That's just out of this fucking world. But yeah, they rolled it back. They did also make it to where Call of Duty is no longer going to be launching on Game Pass day one. Call of Duty will now launch a year later. So that's kind of like how their attempts to kind of make up that gap. Although I would be curious how many it was on Game Pass on one of the most recent bigger Call of Duties since the acquisition. I guess how many Call of I guess there's only been one that launched since the full acquisition of, or maybe two, full acquisition of Activision Blizzard. That like, what was the split? Like, how many of the Xbox player base played via Game Pass, and how many still bought it dedicated, SKU wise? Like, what that breakdown is? Because
I
if
don't
it's
know if
like,
it's like a true statement, but I kind of suspect that like I don't know. I've always been under the impression most people buy Call of Duty.
mhm, that's why I'm
Mhm.
curious. Like, how many people who only play like, if they only play Call of Duty, are they paying $20? Were they paying $20 a month, just to play Call of Duty? Like, there's no way. Like, you have to be like, all right, come on, you got it, no. But they at least have to have core Game Pass for online multiplayer, right? So it's like, okay, they need to be paying at least $10 to even play online on the console. So were they paying the extra $10 to get it for free? So it's like, okay, I'm paying, but that's still $120 a year just to play Call of Duty. So it's like they got to be doing the base one and then buying it as the better
That's
deal if it's the only game.
and I feel like a lot of times when people are really into that, like Call of Duty, I think is one of those games that really attracts people getting like special editions and things for skins. So
Mhm.
I don't feel like maybe people trying it out, but like not people dedicated buying it would be my guess.
I mean, it must be enough to where it was worth the business case to take it off, right?
Right.
Like, so even though your main market is PlayStation, for console wise, it's like it had to have been enough of a player base doing it via Game Pass that it was worth taking that off there. But then it's like, okay, well, what about like, I was listening to another podcast, they're talking about this, and like, okay, well, could we see them do this for other high profile games in their catalog, like the next Elder Scrolls? Would they
Well, I
do it for
mean,
like because that's gonna be a big mover, but people will play it on Game Pass.
But also, like, that's what Game Pass originally was. It was like the non like
Right.
it wasn't like the AAA games, it was the smaller ones, so it's kinda more of like a return to form.
Yeah, except this move to take off Call of Duty makes me wanna like, okay, will they potentially do this for other big breadwinners to if Game Pass isn't bringing in if like the business model of it isn't really working? I mean, they reduced the cost, but it's still, $22. So it's like, okay, is it gonna work out if they reevaluate it in 6 months? You know what I mean? Like, or are they gonna be like, okay, we need to maybe don't make Elder Scrolls or on there, or don't put I don't know what other big franchise they have currently that people would probably just buy, but it's like you gotta wonder if because if they do this with COD, especially if
Oh,
Call of Duty doesn't.
I feel like I'm
What?
sure they're going to pull other games off of it.
Yeah, like
Like,
the big major
that
investment ones.
it never made sense that they put them on there to begin with, so I'm sure they're going to pull them off of it.
Well, yeah, like Shuhei Yoshida was talking about how he thinks it's like he's wondering like how is Sony gonna make up development costs if they don't, because there's those rumors that games aren't or not bringing more PlayStation games to PC that I don't think there's been an official announcement. It's just been the rumors of it. Since like some games haven't shown like hey that they're coming or whatever. But like if they don't bring those games to PC, it's like how are they going to make up some of those dev costs as development costs, just increase. But then you're also kind of offset by the fact that you have to develop it for PC. And it's like, is that dev process of okay, we got it on console, now let's port it is the time investment to do that less than what you're going to recoup? And there was an article a while back when the rumors of the Sony pulling back from PC were coming out about how it took a while for certain franchises to make like so many millions of dollars, but I was still like, that's still a couple $1,000,000. Like that's got to be worth it in the long run. But so that's why I'm Game Pass makes me really wonder like oh, are there gonna be future changes, but this is just the first of many? Because they had a big, keeping it with Xbox, they changed also that it's no longer Microsoft Gaming, they rebranded back to Xbox, but they had, like, a big old I'm not gonna go over the new thing because it's kinda just a word salad of corporate talk, but they basically emailed out a new mission statement to the Xbox staff, which is also posted on Xbox Wire, from Asha Sharma and, Matt Booty, Chief Content Officer, about how, we gotta acknowledging that players are frustrated, talking about features, trying to, do better for the next console, like all the, reevaluating our strategy kind of stuff and all this stuff and reevaluating exclusivity. It's like, okay, what does that mean? Are you not doing exclusivity anymore? Are you gonna do exclusivity on certain titles? That way your player base is happy that it's still on the console. Like, what are you doing? Like, what does that mean? What you're saying? So it's just a lot of like talk, but no necessarily details on what they're going to do. It's just a big, hey, we got to fix the fundamentals for our players and partners, fortify Game Pass with clear differentiation, substantial economics, use mergers and acquisitions deliberately to accelerate growth where organic paths are too slow. It's
I
like, okay,
feel like
you're gonna buy
What?
more.
I feel like we have this conversation once, like, a year
Mhm.
with Xbox, like, genuinely once a year.
Yeah, well, that's because they're
They don't
always like
learn.
stuff is crazy. But I'm like, okay, you want more mergers and acquisitions. You just had like so many layoffs because of how much money you spent on Activision Blizzard.
Mhm.
And you want to do more mergers and acquisitions? Like
Because they don't learn. Nobody has
unless
critical thinking skills.
unless you do smart smaller ones, like the Bethesda one wasn't, that much. Getting Double Fine stuff like that. It's like, okay, maybe if you get some smaller companies, but the Activision Blizzard was just an insane purchase, which I feel like isn't paying off. It was never going to pay off as fast as they needed it to recoup those costs. Like there's just no way.
Mhm.
Like you would have to had seen your console base like if everything became exclusive to Xbox, and then just be like, okay, now our install base of the consoles shot up like 6x from what it was. So now you're over 100 million units. And it's like, okay, now we can see our software sales increase because of that, or Game Pass adoption, yada yada. But it's like, yeah, there's no way you're recouping your money quick enough from your Activision Blizzard acquisition. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's at least it's a good sign, but it's also like, okay, was this already in the works and it was just timed with Asha Sharma coming in and Phil Spencer going away? Like, it is this. It doesn't seem like it'd be her initial like, "Hey, this is what we should do." It seems like probably something they were evaluating after the pushback they've had from Game Pass, probably seeing the, attrition they had from people not renewing because a lot of people canceled, no doubt, and are only bringing it when, like, a new game comes out they wanna play. Uh, they're like, "Okay, what can we do?" And they plan it and like, "Alright, let's time this with the new person coming in." So it seems like their idea, even though maybe it was already in the works. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what. But a price drop is good for gamers at least, and unless you're a hardcore COD fan, I don't think you necessarily really care that you're not gonna be able to play Call of Duty day one. So I'm sure you'll be fine there.
Until they raise
But
it
yeah,
like 3 months later.
right. But yeah, moving on, the rumored long in development Assassin's Creed Black Flag remaster was officially shown off this week. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. It is, I mean, yeah, it looks decent. Uh, it has no modern day stuff in it. The DLC will not be in there, no multiplayer. It does have some extra content for some new characters, but it's just the pirate bit.
I know. I'm just like, well, what was the point of all of that? Like,
I
no DLC was the weird one for me. Of like, really, are you gonna sell the DLC again? Like, what are you doing?
I think because the DLC didn't have the main character, Edward Conway, so I think it's like, okay, let's just keep it with him. And maybe people didn't play the DLC, the Freedom Cry DLC. So it's like, okay, I could see like if no one played it, why put the dev time into it?
I guess,
I
but it's
guess.
a weird concept to do a or a remaster of a game that's not complete. Like to choose a less complete version. And I know, God, there was a game that did it because they lost the rights to the DLC, like when they did the remaster. And I'm blanking on which game that was now, but I don't feel like it's common to do it this way.
Yeah, typically when you do something like this, you have it, come out
Like you
with
want it to be
every
the best version of the game, right? Like
the
that should be
Ultimate
the goal.
Edition, the Game of the Year style edition, stuff like that. It's also
Mhm.
like what confuses me the most about this is why and why now? Like, I get that of the old style Assassin's Creed, Black Flag is the most popular for non Assassin's Creed fans, simply for the pirate bit. So I understand getting rid of the modern day stuff because what people loved about it was the pirate, all the sea shanties, all that stuff. People loved it. And it's like, okay, like they don't care about Assassin's Creed, but they love all the pirate stuff. I get it. But then you made Skull and Bones, which is supposed to be like an offshoot Assassin's Creed Black Flag to begin with. That took forever to come out, didn't do well. So at what point in time did you decide, hey, let's remaster this? I mean, we're only one gen away, but it came out in 2013. And that's what like confuses me the most is it was so long ago and who was asking for it? You know?
Who asked for this?
Like, yeah, I never asked for this,
I
but
mean,
it
I do feel like people asked for it like 10 years ago, 5 years
Uh-huh,
ago. I
uh-huh.
do feel like it was like a common discourse of wanting an Assassin's Creed remake of what people viewed as like the better Assassin's Creed games. I feel like where it's weird now is just that like yeah, like you said, it's been so long. They tried doing Skull and Bones, which, didn't really work. Weird companies. Weird companies doing weird shit.
Yeah, because even like, because I'm like, okay, well, you did the Ezio collection, but that was just bringing the games that were on PS3 to PS4 because there's no backwards compatibility. But it wasn't like those were redone.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's like it was weird that they've done collections. The only time they've ever kind of quote unquote remastered something was when they brought the Assassin's Creed Liberation from the Vita to console. It's like, okay, now you can make it look a little better. You didn't totally redo it. You just, increase some of the assets. Like that's the only time I think if you're moving from a handheld to the console, okay. But you've never done a remaster like this before. Like, and if any, why not do Assassin's Creed 1 in the style of the new Assassin's Creed? Because that game is an open world with the cities and you ride the horse between the cities. And it's like, okay, I can see them adding a bunch of stuff between those giant city locations if they made it in the style of Origins.
I mean, my like sassy response to that of why not Assassin's Creed 1 is because they botched the story on that so hard that they probably just don't want to revisit like the original trilogy. I genuinely feel like they fucked up the third game and the story and the progression into future games on those ones so badly that they just don't want to go back to it.
They don't wanna
But
remind people that they had a plan at some point, and they just kinda just didn't do it.
Exactly.
At least for the first one, it's like, okay, they introduced the Apple of Eden, and then it shows like, oh, you see the map. But it's like it wasn't until the Ezio trilogy where it's like, okay, now we're expanding way more. So it's like, okay, maybe even if you were to take this method of cut out all the modern day stuff and just be Altair, and then there's an Apple of Eden,
Well,
eventually, blah blah blah.
but the first game ended with the cliffhanger of you wake up in the modern world and you suddenly have powers that were from the Animus, and you're kind of like, what the fuck? Why do I have these powers? And then you turn on your Eagle Vision and you can see weird writing everywhere. And then the
Hmm.
game ends and you're just like, holy shit, what the hell's going on? Like the first game ends on a, I don't want, it's not really a cliffhanger, but like they massively hint at like more shit going on in the modern world, in like back in time, and there's a weird magic element of prior to that. Um, you thought that all of your powers were like gamified due to the animus, and this is the first time where it's like they manifest in the real world. So the first game had a lot of like hint at way more to this world that they just never did anything with.
Sure, and yeah, and Desmond escapes in AC2, but like if you cut out all the modern day stuff, like you're doing with Black Flag, and just like redid it, like okay, play this the first game redone without the modern day stuff. I guess it just seems like if any is deserving of a sort of a remaster, it's like why not do the first one with more like in the style of the modern day Assassin's Creed, like because then it's like kind of like how Resident Evil 2 remake isn't exactly one to one to Resident Evil 2. The way Mr. X behaves is entirely different than he does in the first game. So it's like, okay, you're changing it. So like, okay, what if we change it towards like it's like a lot of games that come out where it's like, oh, here's oh, what's that game? We talked about it previously. There's like a series, oh man, not Star Ocean. It's like a long running RPG series. And they just
Final
create
Fantasy.
no. They just did like a new remake of it. But like the remake has modern stylings of what people expect nowadays in modern games, not the way it was way back on, PlayStation 1 or whatever console came out on. Like
Trails
they
in the
they made
Sky.
changes. Maybe. But like why not do that? Why not take a game which if you played it now would be totally like, "Oh man, this is rough." Like let's be honest. And then redo it in the style of Origins, Valhalla, Odyssey. Like that would be I would be more interested in replaying an old Assassin's Creed game if it was like that. Like, oh, you took the OG one but made it like the newer ones. I was like, okay, I'll revisit it. Which is kind of what Mirage is ish, but like
Hmm.
make it I don't know. I don't know. Like Mirage is a little more old towards the old school style, but like keep it more the newer version style, not quite like Mirage.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna bring up Mirage, like, that's as close as they've gotten to kind of like the original thing, the original, like, gameplay loop, but with all of the modern open world stuff, which they could totally do because the thing that stuck out with me with the first one and then I kind of back in Mirage is like your path to your target depends on how much work and information you gather on the way
yeah,
there and how much you
right.
explore and stuff like that. So it's like all of these like extra paths and information and stuff is like hidden. So if you find it, it makes either makes your job a lot easier or it just kind of like adds to it, stuff like that. So it's like they could absolutely do that with the first one. Just take the framework of Mirage and keep the base game where you have that element of, gathering information and finding alternative routes and all this other stuff and having multiple
Okay.
ways to take down your
I feel
target, but with stuff in between.
the dilemma of what you're describing, though, is that it feels like the reason they made Mirage was literally to do that. Like the whole point of Mirage was, hey, let's make an Assassin's Creed 1 style game. And then it
Yeah.
was just kind of like a very average game.
Right, which is why
Uh,
I would love 1 as Origins, like, just straight up
I would love them to redo 1 and to actually do the story well. That's what I would love. With the modern day elements, I want them to go back and be like, "Hey, we've had a lot of thoughts since then. Let's like rework this story so it actually functions." That would be my dream Assassin's Creed 1 game. Go back and
I mean,
fix
I'm sure they
everything they
would. They
changed.
would go back and tweak things.
if he like, if all the stuff that happens in, the trilogy afterwards, I guess, or, like, there's so much for what that happens with Desmond, it's like, okay, he doesn't even escape Abstergo in the first game, so it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know what they would change, like, oh, he escapes with Lucy and in the first one now and blah, 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 like, I just don't get what they could for the modern day stuff, what they could change because like, that was, like, the drip feeding of, okay, there's some weird stuff, you don't know what's going on yet, and you don't realize things are crazy until, like you said, he gets the Eagle Vision and he can see the previous uh person's, writings all over the wall of what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. But I Black what's crazy is like I was talking to my cousin about this, after the day after they announced it when I was at work. And then over the weekend, I'm browsing reels and whatnot, and I'm surprised how many reels I've seen that are like people excited to play Black Flag. And I was like, I didn't expect this like at all. Uh Even like I said, it's the most popular of the originals, but yeah, I don't know. It just seems weird, especially because it's so much later. But
I guess it makes sense because it's probably the one game that has the most, I guess, involved sub game to it with all of the pirating stuff. So it's like you could cut out literally everything else and just be a pirate, and it's like that's fine. This is the game. Whereas like other games are
Your cat is mad at you.
yeah,
you can hear her.
right. The other game. It is the one that's the most like disconnected from the assassins and the Templars
Yeah.
situation, except for the modern day stuff. But also like, okay, well, the main villain in Black Flag is the reincarnated husband. So I'm like, who is the bad guy then? And they're like, it's me. Like, okay, but anybody who plays it who didn't play the original will have like, okay, well, who is this guy? Like, what is going on? And then, of course, you don't realize, until he shows up in the modern day section that, oh shit, it's the same guy. But I'm like, it just seems strange. But it seems like some folks are excited. It's just like, and there are some changes to it. They said like some combat changes will be in there to be kind of more in line with what's going on now, kind of the counter system. So it's like, okay, at least the combat got updated a bit, but yeah, I'm not like I don't think I'll be revisiting Black Flag when this comes out, but it comes out July 9th is when it's going to release, so it I'll be curious to see how well it does. And yeah, I guess if there's people who only played Black Flag in 2013, I guess if there were people that played it only on PS3 because it was one of those cross-gen games, like I waited to play it until the PS4 launched. I guess because then you're 2 generations away, and it would look even better. But, yeah, I don't know. Or maybe, like, you were a kid when you played it, now you're adults. You're like, "Oh, it's gonna take me back to my childhood." Like one of those situations, like,
I don't
yeah,
want to
I
think
get
about that.
okay, yeah, if you were, 13 when you played it, I guess, I don't know. But, sure. But, yeah, interesting stuff. We'll see. Moving on. So apparently it was announced that there is a Battlefield movie in the works with Michael B. Jordan and Christopher McQuarrie teaming up to do it. But I'm like, no offense to Battlefield, none of the stories in it are like stand out. This needs to be a blockbuster. I mean, and no shade to the military genre, but I'm like, that's kind of how it is for every story. Like even COD, like they're not, except for like some of the early Black Ops ones, because they're very like they're in the past and there's a lot of like, secret stuff going on and unreliable narrators and whatnot. But I'm like, they're not like this wouldn't be fun to watch as a movie. So I don't know what they're going to do.
It's
And
just gonna
why
be like mindless action movie is what it's going to be with like a plot that nobody has to come up with. It's already been done. They're just gonna follow a script, but it's just gonna be like guns and explosions and military shit and all that. And Michael B. Jordan. Like that's fine, I guess. Whatever.
yeah, and they're shopping around for someone to fund it. So it's like it's not even like official. It's just they want to do it, and now they're shopping for it. But I'm like there is a world where it could be a good movie, like Solid 7, like fun to watch. But it being part of based on Battlefield you wouldn't know at all. Like it's just a squad of people, unless you did like Bad Company 2, where it's like those games have a story and characters that are way more entertaining. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, if
Mhm.
it's like a Bad Company 2 movie and you got the silly group of guys who are chit chatting and they got the dialogue, that could be fun. Cause then it's like you got comedy plus the action story. It's like, that's how you do it. If it's just, Battlefield 3, 4, and stuff and like that, and 6, it's like, they're not,
It's
it's
just gonna
just,
be generic military movie, but with the Battlefield name. And that's
mhm.
gonna they paid for the
Exactly.
Battlefield name to hopefully get people to pay attention to it rather than just like It's like they probably made a mediocre military movie and were, like, working on it, and we're like, "We gotta do something to get people to come watch this, like, get somebody interested in it," so they just bought the license.
Yeah, unless they do a lot of destruction, which is what Battlefield's known for. But yeah, it's I
A
don't
lot
know.
of
It's
destruction, which is what war movies are also known for.
well, I mean, I'm
Basically,
talking
yeah.
about like full on going around, hey, let's blow up this skyscraper, like the destruction that Battlefield as a game is known for. And there's like just, crazy shit going on. Like, okay, I guess. But you see it more like boots on the ground level style of destruction. Uh, but yeah, it's just I guess whatever. you do whatever. But yeah, just a weird announcement. And then yeah, so the other thing for this week was, FanFest is going on. There was the official reveal of the expansion Evercold, which is coming in January 2027. I watched the trailer because I was curious, and I'm like, man, if I knew nothing of Final Fantasy, this would be like the weirdest trailer. Like, what the hell
It's
are
so
all these
weird.
circling planets and stuff going on? And even though I knew some of that, I'm like, okay, but do they all exist? I thought they were all like putting off the destruction or whatever, and blah blah blah. And there are different universes and timelines and this that, and then it's like I'm like, okay, whatever. People are excited. Here's the trailer. Uh, but as part of that, they announced that there's going to be a Square Enix cafe opening up in Los Angeles.
Yay! I'm so excited.
I know. When I saw that, I was like, oh, Zaya's going to go there and take Sony
I'm gonna
pictures.
go there because I didn't go to the one at Ikebukuro. Is it in
Yeah,
Ikebukuro? Maybe it's in Shinjuku. I don't remember.
they're opening one in Shinjuku
Oh,
as
okay, they're
well.
opening the one in Shinjuku, so the other one's it's either in Shibuya or Ikebukuro. I can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's that. So you watched all the Fans Fest stuff. So can you
Mhm.
give me the rundown of what
What the fuck is
this expansion
happening?
is going to be? Yeah, what is special about this? Are they going to like kind of refresh me as well, like the whole planet thing from because what was it Endwalker? Is that what it was
Shadowbringers
called?
and Endwalker
Shadow
is where they
Endwalker.
introduced it, yeah.
Okay, so now the concept of that was like there was you're gonna have to correct me because this is just I'm what I hate listening to on the podcast or someone talking about something they don't know. But from
Go,
what
go, go.
this is why I need help because from what I remember was like there used to be like one planet, let's call it one universe, whatever, and then it got split. And there's like all those planets we see in the trailer because they're trying to end a catastrophe, a calamity or whatever. It's like okay, well let's isn't that like what? Why did that? What are they doing? What's up with that? What's
Yes.
going on? Okay,
That's the long and short of it, yeah. So
okay.
there's well, they talk about it in Shadowbringers, but Endwalkers where they actually, like, show it happen and, like, what leads up to it. So there's originally the one planet, the one star, and then this big, like, world-ending thing is happening, and all these people the like, ancients or whatever,
Hmm.
there's a convocation of 14. So there's, like, all of these different seats or like officials basically that kind of like handle all of the different branches and all this that's like a whole thing. It's a way complicated. But anyway, they decide that they're going to try to summon a god to stop it.
Hmm.
But that's a bad idea because this
Yeah.
god is like it goes back to the primal thing. Like it's going to temper you and it's going to destroy the planet in its own way and blah blah blah. So this other person is like, okay, well, I'm going to become the opposite god and stop that. And because two wrongs make a right and all of that. And she sunders the planet and it splits off. So it becomes the source and then there's 14
Right.
reflections of the source. And so all of these other reflections are parallel universes, basically.
Hmm.
And anytime there's a calamity on the source, is because one of the reflections has been destroyed, basically. So the Asians are the original convocation of 14, and they're trying to reunite the star. But every time they do that, they have to destroy another planet. So there's been 7 of the planets that have already been destroyed.
Right.
And because there's been 7 calamities on the source. And in Shadowbringers, we went to the first, which is they're just named whatever. They're just whatever their names are. And that one was like kind of like half destroyed. It wasn't destroyed completely. So that's like the whole thing of Shadowbringers. And
Okay.
then in Endwalker, you find out all of that. Blah blah blah. And then you find out that the void, where like all of the demons and everything comes from, is actually one of the destroyed shards. It's like completely shrouded in darkness or whatever, and it was the 13th. So we end up going there very briefly and like doing a bunch of shit there or whatever. But those are the only 2 that I know of that have been like, well, technically 3 now. That was the first 2, and then in the third one, we in Dawn Trail is all of the like futuristic shit, and like the big thing about that is because the ninth reflection was destroyed by like a giant lightning storm, and they like found out how to traverse the rift and go to other planets and shit. It's a whole big thing. But that's 3 now that we kind of like know the fate of.
I want
So
you to repeat this story back to us afterwards, JCM. I want you to take what you're hearing here, and I want you to then explain it again to me.
yeah, I had the bit from last time we talked about there being the main planet and they were stopping the calamity and
Mhm.
then came all the other ones and then I now she's saying like loud it's coming back to me. So what number is the game take place? Like what planet? If you were to give them all numbers, which one are we in the middle? But we stopped ours because
We
that's
are
what we do.
on the source.
Oh, we
There's no
are
number
on
to
the
it.
source.
We're on the source. Yeah, that's why
Okay,
every time a
okay.
planet is destroyed, it's because
There's an
they're
expansion.
yeah, basically. Every time a reflection is destroyed, it's being put back into the source. So they want all of the reflections destroyed so that the source is the only planet left. It's
So are we the
destroying all of
bad
the
guys?
unstandard.
No,
Huh?
the Asians are doing
The
it.
bad guys are doing that.
Oh, okay.
Because they're
I'm just
causing
gonna stay quiet and make my
'Cause
coffee.
that's but here's the funny thing. So this whole time we've been
It's a
fighting the
dream.
Asian.
Mhm.
It seems like it. This whole time we've been fighting the Asians who are making calamities on the source because they are destroying the reflections by imbalancing the ether and making all of these terrible cataclysms and everything like that. Because their end goal is to get rid of all of them and put all of the ether and everything back into the source and make their home planet again because they're insane. Like it's going to make any difference. But in the trailer for Evercold, it's implied that now we're going to do that. Like they want us to unite the star, and it shows like all of them coming back into the source with the key of Asm in the middle of it, and it's like, oh, but if they do it bad, if I do it good, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
I get maybe it's
the thing
control. There's like if we do it, we can time it better.
Yeah, basically. So, but I guess the implication is that we're going to do it right, apparently, because the whole thing with Dawn Trail, at the end of it, the reason that the ninth was able to come into the source in like a little bubble kind of thing, is because they have this thing called the key. And the key is what originally allowed this like ancient tribe to traverse the rift and go to other planets and stuff like that, and it's related to Asm, who is I guess the 14th seat technically of the convocation, and was known as like the traveler kind of thing. And it's very heavily implied that your character is a shard of Asm. So like every
Hmm.
world, every reflection has a hero of light, basically, or a warrior of light, and those are just like your reflections that kind of got because Asm got sundered rather than the other convocation members who did it. So it's like the implication is that because we have Asm's crystal, which has the power of Heidelin in it, and now we have the key as well, we can safely go to other shards and potentially unite them correctly, is what I'm assuming they're implying. Obviously, this is like the teaser of teaser trailers, and there's going to be
Mhm.
more every time they show a new one at the other fan fests and everything like that. But that was the whole thing with Dawn Trail. It's like, well, now we have this key. We can go to any reflection we want to once we figure out how to use it, which I'm assuming we're going to figure it out in the next patch on Tuesday. So that's what the next expansion is going to be. We're physically choosing rather than getting sucked through the void like we did in Shadowbringers. We're physically going to another planet, and the one that we're going to is the fourth, which is having like an ice cataclysm or whatever. Ragnarok,
Mm.
basically.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like instead of doing an ether imbalance to destroy it, like we use diplomacy with Gaia and to be like, hey, you want to come back? You know,
Basically, yeah, that's what
ma-
Asm was. It was just like kind of a diplomat, just kind of the adventurer of the convocation is what it
make us whole,
implied.
Isaac. The convergent situation, Dead Space style.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
basically it's like, oh, this is what you needed to do it correctly. So actually, yeah, the Asians were right. They were just doing it wrong.
yeah.
And next time we go to the Aether, you'll see Hades is going to be
Yeah. Yeah, because I watched it. I was like, okay, why? Because I like make this whole like in my mind that felt like not wrong, but like this seems weird. And I was like, and this is why, because like, oh, in the back of my head, it's like, yeah, it's because all the bad stuff was happening with all the calamities. But
Yeah, and
um,
there's always a thing in the trailer that makes all of the current players go, "Oh," kind of thing, and that was it. It
yeah,
was
like
like, "Unite the Star," and everybody was like, "Hang on, wait, no, bad? That's
yeah.
supposed to be bad? We're not doing that? Wait a minute."
Now what? So like they show like I feel like in the trailers they'll emphasize like what job will be kind of like the job of the expansion, right?
Mhm,
We had Dragoon, we had what, Monk and Dark Knight in one, and then
mhm.
eventually we have the was it Corsair or no, what's their pirate one
Oh, the one for
before?
Dawn Trail, it was Viper.
Viper. There we go. But like so it starts off whatever, but then it ends where I'm like, is that just Dark Knight again?
No,
Okay.
that's Reaper. It was a job that was
Reaper.
introduced in
My
Reaper's
bad.
Endwalker.
different than Dark Knight.
They wear light armor, not heavy armor.
Yeah, light armor and a scythe, yeah, it's Reaper. So yeah, the expansion's, like, poster boy job is going to be Reaper, and I'm assuming by the time that the full trailer comes out at, FanFest Tokyo, it'll show,
What
like,
Reaper does.
why he's a Reaper all of a sudden,
Uh-huh.
but which is it kinda makes sense because in the other expansions, the I don't know how to explain it. Everybody calls it Meteor, the guy that the Warrior of Light that's in the
Mhm.
trailers. Meteor is always like a job that already exists in the game. But with Dawn Trail, he was a new job. And so that was like kind of weird. So I'm assuming maybe they couldn't show like at all what the new job would be because it would just be like a big spoiler. Because when they first showed the very first Dawn Trail expansion, you could tell that something was missing on like his character model or whatever, just like the way he was standing, it was very obvious that like something was missing, like a weapon or something like that, or like
Mhm.
a piece of armor. And then after they introduced Viper is when they showed like, oh, it's because Meteor is a Viper. He has the swords or whatever, and it would have been, spoiler kind of thing. So I don't know why they went back to doing like a previous job. I don't know if it'll like make sense as to why he's deciding to be a Reaper now, but which is extra funny because the big bad guy in Endwalker was a Reaper, so it's kind of implied that like, ooh, Reaper bad. Reaper the bad guy job. Like,
Yeah.
uh-oh, we are the baddies now.
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I was confused. I was like, "Oh, this job is just looks." But I guess can there were there any scythes in the base game for Dark Knight, or Dark Knight in 14 is just great sword wielder?
Oh, it's just great sword. Dark Knight is
D-
just great sword.
Yeah, because in my mind, Dark Knight is
Yeah.
FF11 style. So okay,
Yeah, they didn't have sights in the game until they introduced Reaper. So
okay, interesting, interesting. What are you gonna say, Isli?
We're I don't know. Do you think they're ever going to make another Final Fantasy MMO? I even listening to you describe this game is intimidating for me. And I'm just like, man, I wonder if they're ever going to make another one or if they're just going to like update this for like another decade.
their plan is to keep 14 running for as long as humanly possible because that's what Yoshida wants. And they're setting it up so that they can do that because there's
However,
still
yeah.
places on the source that we haven't even been to. I'm bitter because I want to go to Marisidia and they keep forgetting that it exists. And I want to go to the Dragon Island, but fair. We've already had a Dragon expansion, whatever. But now they're basically setting up so we know that there's at least two or three, maybe four reflections that have been destroyed. So it's like, okay, are we going to fix those or are they just dead? Or, but now there's at least 10 other reflections that we can go to in some capacity. So are they going to be their own expansion or are we going to do multiple in one? So if they do a reflection for every expansion, that's 10 more
Mhm.
expansions that they can have
Yeah,
planned
yeah.
out.
They got plenty lined up.
And Yoshida has said, like, if you want me to keep making this game for 10 more years, I will make it for 10 more years. If you want me to keep making it for 20 more years, I will make it for 20 more years. Basically, as long as the community wants him to make the game, he will make the game. So they want to keep it going as long as possible.
I did see he said it'd be interesting if someone made a single player game out of 14.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I forget where I didn't save it, but it was just like I was like, oh, that would be interesting. Like if they made like I guess if you weren't a warrior of light, if you're just somewhere else or a different point of time or something like that. So is the implication that the events of that led to a realm reborn was a calamity, a reflection being destroyed that led to because Bahamut he was in that moon at the end of the base launch version, and then he gets
Mhm.
born, and then a realm born. So is that like a direct cause of they destroyed a reflection?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So like
Yeah, it's
they
considered a calamity because in 1.0 we're in the sixth Umbral era. I forget what
Mhm.
they it goes back from Umbral to Astral. And then the calamity happens in A Realm Reborn is the seventh Astral era. So that's why they call the Scions, they're called the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. It's because 1.0 to A Realm Reborn was a calamity.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess they could go in for Croat. And I did see they're doing a crossover with Neon Genesis Evangelion,
It's gonna be the next Alliance raid. I'm
which is
scared.
it's just so funny. Get in the airship, Shinji. But
Ugh.
I was like, what? What
I
I
mean, they've already done Nier, so I was
yeah, what
hoping they would do another original one, though, like they did with Endwalker, but it's fine.
yeah. It just like the Neuro one, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Another game. Blah, just the Neon Genesis one. I'm like, I guess your player base is aware of that series. I mean, I know they did the
Well, I
Rebirth
mean,
whole run, but
uh,
I'm thinking like I guess yeah, a bunch of nerds, but like it.
Bunch of nerds. Yes, of
I mean,
course.
this seems like a thing that Yoshida was like, "Hey, I really like Evangelion. Let's make a
Yeah,
raid about it."
this is his Hideo moment of like
Yeah.
I like this thing. I want it in my game.
Yeah.
Yeah, player base be damned. I want to.
He literally called himself an Evangelion otaku, so
Yeah, yeah. So that makes sense. They
mhm.
just put in what you love. Yeah, I thought I saw that and I was like, oh, that's really funny.
And at this point, Yoshida can just, like, do what he wants and get what he
Yeah.
wants, so
Yep. Sorry, I was trying to see if I had anything else missed. I saw that there was a tease apparently for Alien Isolation 2 from Creative Assembly, but I know they announced they were working on follow back in like 2024, and they released like this small snippet. I'm like, okay, does that mean you guys are going to finally announce the sequel for the game? Because it's been a
I would
couple
love a
years.
sequel.
Yeah, make it shorter, but yeah, give me a sequel because I want to I've thought about replaying Alien Isolation a lot now that I know that like because I played it really slow because I was always hiding in lockers, but like I was never confident that hiding under like gurneys and other things was actually would work. But anytime I watch, I'm like, oh, I guess it would be totally fine. Like the alien can't see you. But so I was like, I could play it a little quicker, but that game is just it is a little too long. That
It's
is
like
the
2
only
hours too long or something.
yeah,
And like
that's the only
for
problem.
the intensity, it just needs to be like literally like an hour or two shorter.
Yeah. But I just saw an article that popped up while we we're recording saying that let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to get right up on it. So I guess the game director, Richer, left this is for Assassin's Creed Hexa, has left Ubisoft just months after the departure of the previous creative director. So it looks like here an update on the latest for the history hopping stealth franchise. Well, I'm reading this from IGN. Uh, Post published by former Ubisoft Montreal developer. In his message, he stated that he left to join Quebec-based indie studio Servo Games as co-founder and game director. This is the second major departure for the Assassin's Creed game, which is in development with the Hex codename this year. The last, obviously, was Clint Hawking, who left in February, with Assassin's Creed head of content Jean Guston filling in the role in his place. But Richard joined. He joined Ubisoft Montreal back in 2000. You worked on Rainbow Six Vegas too. But yeah, I'm like, that's not good. What's going on with that game? Like, one, I was excited because Clint Hawking was back, and then he left. I'm like, okay, why? I'm in my mind, it's like a director leaving a project of creative differences. Like you know, I wanted to make something, but Disney didn't allow me to do what I wanted to do, like the Ant-Man
Mhm.
situation. Oh man, hopefully that who knows what the hell's going on with that game. It's probably gonna be a while now before that comes out.
It's in dev hell.
Yep. Oh well. All right. Well, we can go ahead and move on to what we've been playing. We'll go ahead and start with you, Isli, because you were playing Hades before we started recording.
Still am playing
Ha-
Hades. Weird how that works out.
Hades 2, I take it, obviously.
Yeah, I'm playing Hades too. Yeah, so I mean I'm working through the main story. Like okay, wait, before I make some statements, how far are you in Hades 1? This might be a like you should go first kind of thing because I want to
I
compare
got,
it to
got
things in Hades 1.
no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead. I haven't finished a full complete cycle. I'm trying to think of the furthest I got. I don't know how to. I don't know what the
But
zone was called.
but do you understand the game loop of Hades?
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to think of a non-spoiler way to ask.
Just
Do you know
talk,
what I'm
man.
trying to
Just
get at?
talk.
Do you understand what happens after you win a run, like to
I
continue the
haven't
game loop?
I haven't won a run, like, that's what I'm saying. I haven't gone through a complete full run,
Okay. So
but I don't
I
care
guess
about spoilers, so just go
okay,
ahead and
so
talk.
the main spoilery thing I was gonna say is just like going through runs in Hades. I was much more interested, and I think I said this last time too, but I was much more interested in doing repeat runs to unlock more of the story.
Right.
And in Hades 2, for some reason, I just like I don't care about doing like the repeat runs to actually try to unlock more of the story. Um, I'm still doing it because like I like the gameplay loop and everything, but I find that I'm not driven to actually like get to the end so much, and that I don't really care about like successful runs, and I just find Hades to be a way more interesting final boss than Kronos, despite the fact that Kronos is also their family. So it's like kind of the same, not the same story, but like it's another like father family issue again, given that Kronos is, the father of Hades and all that. Um, I just find that I don't really care about the game, like the loop aspect of it this time around, which I did the first time around. I still like the roguelite aspect. And I know that sounds like a really weird differentiation to make, but I just find that the first one handled the roguelite elements and the repeated elements better than Hades 2. So uh, that's kind of where I'm at with Hades. I do like it a lot still. I think it's good, but I'm probably not going to play it much beyond like a few successful runs. I don't find the weapons as interesting this time around, actually. I really liked the weapons in the first game, and I thought there was a lot more variety. And I don't find these weapons to really like, they're just not fun to use, if that makes sense. The weapons in the first game I thought were all really fun to use. These ones, I guess, do have variety, but they're not really fun, um, which is kind of hard.
Mhm.
But graphics great, gameplay is still great. I wish I played the earlier version of this because a lot of the like I remember being able to make really broken combos in Hades, and I haven't really found any of the like broken boon combos in Hades 2 yet. It seems much more well balanced, which I honestly wouldn't mind if there was a little bit of like imbalance in a single player roguelite game. Sometimes it's really fun to get really powerful and to feel extremely powerful, which I don't really have yet in this game.
Yeah.
But like I like the core gameplay loop is really fun of being able to like pick different doors, try to get your builds. Once you unlock some of the like Arcana cards, you can re-roll boons in this game so that you can try to get like a different boon that you want, which I think was in Hades 1 as well, being able to re-roll boons. So
I
it's just like it's a solid game. It
I
just
haven't
doesn't grip me
seen
as
ability
much.
to re-roll unless it's, like, after you do your first run.
Thought in
It could be an
I thought in
unlock,
Hades
like, in the
1 you
mirror.
could, yeah, maybe not, but I thought you were able to re-roll essentially like when you got boons from someone, you could like re-roll in order to get a different set of boons from a god or something, but maybe that's a Hades 2 thing, in which case it's a great addition.
Yeah, 'cause I
A
just I
great
was
addition that
sometimes
I
like
assumed
'cause
existed.
there's a lot of times where, like, it seems like especially the one you start with, the first boon, seems really dependent on what weapon you get. Like, obviously, 'cause it has to be something like, okay, it does something that's unique for this weapon, like, oh, the gun shoots faster or something, or, it sometimes they seem like they're more like, "Oh, if you run this weapon, it typically will be this pool of boons," versus, like, or the first one seems like you can get like the whole rank and file choices at random. But yeah, there may be a way to randomize it. I don't have the mirror fully unlocked, so maybe it's part of that or something later. But anyways, uh, do you have? Are you gonna? You said you're probably gonna be done with it. Do you ever gonna just gonna wait till Saros comes out next week and not play
That's
anything
pretty
else?
much it. Yep. Play this until Saros comes out. Like I said, so I've beat in Hades 2, there's kind of two different paths you can take. So you can either go down into hell or you can go or Tartarus, not hell, but or you can go up to the surface. And
Hmm.
I've beat both separate paths. And then you can see your progression of like you need to get an item that involves beating the end boss at each of these routes a certain number of times, which I presume is like the final end of the game, which basically means like 8 successful runs total. So I'll probably finish that quantity of runs before Saros comes out because the runs are not horribly hard. But yeah, once Saros comes out, I think I'll probably shelve the game, and I got my money and time out of it. But I think Hades 1 landed a bit better for me.
Yeah.
I also like the characters in Hades 1 a lot more. I feel like in this game, like in Hades 1, they used all the like really well-known side characters and things, and in this one, it's just like most of the characters are just kind of assholes, and not in the funny like, oh, they're just a Greek god asshole kind of a way. It's more of like all the Greek gods are assholes, acknowledging that. But you still have to sort of like them. Like they have to be funny assholes for you to actually care about the game. And in this one, they're like less funny and they're more just kind of like assholes. So I find myself often just being like, I don't give a shit what's going on with you.
Yeah. Uh, what about you, Si? I know you said you're just playing. There's going to be an update for 14
Hmm.
soon, so you just kind of like prepping for that.
Basically, yeah. So on Tuesday is going to be the first part of 7.5, which is going to set up the story for the expansion. So I've basically just been loitering in 14 for the most part. I've been playing a little bit of Star Rail too, because they just did a big update for that. But ironically, I haven't started any of the actual like update story stuff because there's all kinds of like side stuff that they introduced. So I've just been doing that. But I've pretty much just been playing 14 on my pretty new laptop and just enjoying the fact that it runs at a smooth 60 frames per second and doesn't doesn't chop up my rotation when something big happens.
Yeah, I saw you put it through a physical stress test, having it on its side so you could watch
No,
TV.
no.
What?
Exactly.
Okay. We watched all of FanFest because it was streamed on YouTube, which we have the native app on our TV, but I paid for access to watch the concerts, but they were through like a Japanese streaming site.
Mhm.
I don't know why they do this. It's because Square Enix, I don't know. So I was like, oh, this is like perfect because now I have a laptop. I could just plug the laptop into the TV. Which was fine on Friday. Got it all set up. It was all ready to go. I had it closed. It was running perfectly. We watched the piano concert. It was amazing. And then Saturday, I was sitting and reading and didn't realize what time it was. And the Primals concert had already started. So I was like panic plugging my laptop into the TV. And I didn't have time to like kind of like set it up to where I could close the laptop without it stuttering and doing all this other stuff. So I just like left it left it hanging next to the TV by the HDMI cord. And it was just like
You dangled your new
it
laptop
wasn't
from an
dangling, it wasn't
HDMI
dangling.
cord?
It wasn't dangling. It was set very safely and calmly on the floor with the HDMI cable and the power cable plugged into it.
Is this a true statement, JCM? Was it safe or was it
Well,
not safe?
Michael says it's hanging.
Bruh!
But from what I saw on Instagram, it looked like it was just like on its side
It
and
was
just
sitting, it wasn't hanging. I did not dangle my $1,800 laptop by an HDMI cable in front of my TV. I set it very carefully and calmly, and I shooed the cats away every time they went up to inspect it so they didn't touch it.
no pillow under it, nothing.
It had a rug. Fine. It's
But
fine.
yeah, I thought that was
I
funny.
was panicking. The primals were already starting. I was panicked.
Yeah. So with 7.5, what is the cadence for content drops between now and the next 8 months from when the expansion drops? Like, is like 7.5 and then 6, 7, 8? Like, what are they, or is it just 5 and then like little stuff in between now and
It
January?
it's pretty much just, which has always been a little bit strange because it's always like 7.5 and then the expansion. There's no like
Yeah, I was
point
gonna
6.
say I don't remember any big ones. Feels
Yeah,
like 5's
so
the kind of the big one.
their 7.5 is on Tuesday, and then 0.51 will be, oh crap, I don't remember. I would have to look up the timeline or whatever. It'll be a little bit later, and they're going to introduce like the new ultimate. There's going to be, oh, I don't remember what's going to be in 5.1, but anyway, and then 5.2 is going to be in July, and they're going to introduce Beastmaster, and it'll be like that until September, where the last half of 7.5 comes out, and then that will be the direct setup to Evercold.
Okay.
But then
All
there's,
right.
well, there might be a couple little content updates after that, but that's pretty much like once the story of
Yeah.
once the story of 7.5 is concluded, that's it until Evercold comes out.
Yeah, it's not like they want to be working on other stuff to bridge the gap when it's like, well, we want people all hands deck because now we got to get
Yeah.
this stuff done on time. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna I mean, they're introducing a new job halfway through the patch cycle, so it'll keep some
Yeah,
people,
exactly.
occupied, and a new ultimate, so that'll keep, like, the hardcore raiders mostly occupied. Gonna be PvP updates, like, there's gonna be stuff to do, people will complain about it anyway, but, there's gonna be stuff to do, but one of the things that they brought up at FanFest was the fact that since Shadowbringers and, like, I guess Endwalker too, the time between patches has gotten longer and longer because the team is like working on stuff and everything like that. But one of their goals is to like shorten the dev time and keep it on a more regular cycle between patches. So
Yeah.
they're doing, but because it is a little bit ridiculous that like 7.5 is this Tuesday and the last half of that patch is in September, but it's fine. It's whatever. As long
Yeah.
I don't personally care how long it takes as long as it's good. But I'd like at this point I kind of trust the team to make it good. So as long as they need to take for it, I don't care. Let the man sleep. Let Yoshi P sleep.
Right. Right.
Let
Yeah.
Soken sleep.
Exactly. Let's just relax. They're working nonstop to get this content.
Mhm.
But, well, okay, that's cool. You don't have to let us know what they do for the lead in.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I guess they also got like potential information drop for the expansion as well between 7.5 and everything else. You got other stuff, not necessarily game specific
Yeah.
updates and
Berlin
whatnot.
Fan Fest is in July, if I
Yeah,
remember correctly. So they're gonna obviously talk about more like that. There was stuff that they announced at FanFest and they very specifically said, like, we're gonna talk about this in Berlin because we've talked about too many things today, so we need to leave all of that for later. And
right.
then Tokyo Fan Fest is obviously at the towards the end of the year. So
Yeah.
there will be more.
All right, stuff.
Yay.
Yeah, I played some more Hades between the last record and now. Like I said, I haven't done a full run. I've only played for about just shy of 7 hours on it. I do have all the weapons unlocked, so I've got to try all the weapons. The gun seems so silly. I think the one thing that pisses me off about the gun the most is it
That it
doesn't
exists.
reload. It doesn't reload if you keep if you keep firing and then you just like click 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 'cause you run out of bullets. It doesn't auto reload. Like you have to reload it, and it just my first person shooter in me is just like this shit should be reloading when I'm done. Like it annoys me that it doesn't. And then like the alt fire bombardment thing on it is just so slow. I'm like I don't know about this. Silly weapon, but um, but
That's
yeah,
how
I
I
think
feel about like 4 of the 6 weapons in Hades too.
yeah. Yeah, I don't mind some of the other like the shield one's interesting. I don't mind the gauntlets. Those are kind of fun. And then the lance, the spear, and the sword. I don't really use the bow. The bow is like, no. I'd use the gun over the bow any day because I hate having to charge the shot. It's like this is not no. I don't like this tank control, stay still, and have to charge up nonsense. It's just not fun to me. But yeah, going through, I wish I remember how far I've gotten. Um, like what's the furthest I've gotten? I know I've gotten to you fight. I forgot his name again.
Hades.
Like Tertius and the Minotaur or whatever, or they fight together. I've gotten that multiple times. I got through them. I just forget what comes after them. Because I've been to Elysium multiple times and I've gotten through Elysium. I don't remember how far or if I've gotten through like what's after Elysium or what the main boss is. I can't recall. But yeah, like that's where I've gotten. I keep like doing upgrades, giving people the wine and whatnot. There's like interesting stuff with like the story where it's like, you fight Meg as like the first boss a bunch, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you don't fight Meg anymore. Now it's her sister who's like crazy zombie or whatever. And then after that, it's like, oh, now it's the other sister. And it's like, and now some of the other bosses are a little different. The Hydra's a little different now. Like that boss is different. I'm like, okay, but what is triggering this? Is it just the number of times they've gone through it? And it seems like, okay, anytime death shows up and he has like a a kill off with you, I'm like, okay, I guess. Which I haven't lost, so I'm curious what happens if you lose. I assume you just die, but
I think the thing that triggers it is like progression in the game and like quantity of upgrades. Because Hades 2 does it as well, where they just tweak certain fights to kind of still keep them somewhat interesting.
mhm.
And I do think I don't know what it's actually based on, but I think it's like basically quantity of upgrades you have.
Mm, yeah, maybe. But yeah, I don't have a ton about. I'm at the point now where the next mirror upgrade's like 30 keys. And I'm like, oh, that'd be quite the grind if I want to just focus on getting the key upgrades. I'm curious, like there are so many trinkets in the game. And I only have like 4 unlocked. I'm like, where the hell are these other trinkets? Like I'm surprised with how many runs I've done because they're so quick. I don't have more trinkets. And it seems like I get them from at least from what I've got so far, I believe they're all from the NPCs. Right, like, every time I level them up, they're like, "Oh, here, I got this for you.
I think
Here's this
most of
one."
them are from that, yeah.
And there's that one Gorgon head, I wanna give them the wine because she seems like she's, like, always nervous around around you every time you talk to her, which is really funny. I'm like, "Okay, she clearly likes him and doesn't wanna leave," but she's like, "Okay, I gotta go." And, which always makes you laugh anytime you find the Gorgon head floating around. Uh, but yeah, no, it's still fun. I just haven't, put a ton of time into it this week. I went back and started playing some, so the Gray Zone Warfare point 4 update happened, I think on back in April. And well, that's this month. Back on March. It was I believe the end of March is when it hit. Uh, and I played a little bit of it then, and I went back and wanted to play some more. And I kind of like the changes. The game runs a lot better than it did previously. The AI changes are really good. I like that they're not laser beams anymore. At least like not all the basic enemies. I'm sure maybe some of the more elite ones could be a little tougher. But I really like the changes they've done there. But what's rough is that like they did this change in point 3 where if you went to it was like every quest was technically available at any time. But the way it worked was once you left like if you did all the quests in the main town that's right outside where you start, the vendors who you're doing these jobs for would push you to go, okay, your quest is to go check out this place. And that's kind of like the guide for the player, like, go check out YBL1. It's like this point of interest that's to the west of where I start in the faction I am. And it's like, okay, the game is pushing you to go there. Then in point 3, they made it to where it's like, instead of doing all that, you could just run there. And then once you get there, then it's like, oh, you visit it. Now that triggers all the quests that start popping up there. It's like, oh, I thought that was really cool because like you could circumvent having to do all the starting town stuff during the reset and just do a little bit of it and then go straight off to the points of interest that you like. Unlocking all the landing zones and whatnot and this and that. And I like that approach. But now in point 4, they've really gated the way it works to where now in order to get the quests in those points of interest, you can still go to them if you want. You're just not getting the quests. Now it's built on reputation. So you have to do quests in the main town to build up enough rep for your character to get the ability to go to it's like now I finally did it last night. I was like, okay, let's grind out the rep. I just did a bunch of quests. I've done them so many times. I know where like 90% of them are where I have to go, what I have to do. I'm doing them. And then it's like, okay, you have enough rep. Now you can go to these 2 different points of interest. So it's like YBL1, which is to the west, and Blue Lagoon, which is to the east. And it's like, oh, nice. I have these 2 points of interest that I go to. Plus, there's a bunch of mini quests in between. And they've added these new like contract quests, which show up on the map that are new to this version, where it's like, oh, you go here, you do a thing, and you have to go to another spot and do something like multi-tiered quests that give you rewards. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Like some extra stuff you can do, yada yada. I was like, oh, that's a really neat idea. But it's interesting that they kind of slowly feed you because to go to like the bigger points of interest, you need a lot of rep, and it pulls in the rep from everywhere around that zone. So like, there's like 3 major points of interest, like high tier, high enemy areas that you go to if you want like all the main loot. It's like where all the end game stuff is kind of. And in order to get there, like you need all the areas around it to be leveled up. So I'm like, okay, now I have YBL1, that's good, and I have Blue Lagoon. So I have 2 areas I can go to now, plus quests again in between that I could do. But it's like it is a little frustrating that I can't just kind of like, okay, I'll do a couple here, and then go on to Fort Nerith, which I really like, or go to Banpa, or go to these other places that I like going to. It's like I have to slow roll it in order to get there, which is a little annoying. As a new player, I suppose to be fine because it's more like a little guided. It also kind of I guess would gate is that the downside to it too is like, okay, when everybody started fresh, that's fine because like there's no reason for you to go to the other side of the map unless you wanted to PvP. So you go to the places the other factions are and fight people there. But if I don't put in nearly as much time now, like I streamed the other day for the first time just to test out some software stuff. I was playing Hades, and one of my people that comes in the chat usually came in, and he plays Gray Zone, and he's like, "Oh, I got 196 hours in the new update." It's like, God damn, and he's got like so much time in it. I'm like, okay, but now there's other players like him who just like this is their game, and I could go to YBL1, which is like an early area, but there's now a super high probability that a bunch of people who are further in the game progress wise will be there probably doing something and then I can run into them. So it's like it's just I don't know, it's weird the way they've done the progression. But yeah, going back into playing it, like it's a lot of fun. I like a lot of the changes that they're making. And like I said, having it run just a lot better. Especially because I play it at 4K. It's because it just looks so much better in the high resolution, obviously. But yeah, I was playing it last night. It was a lot of fun. And then what else have I been playing? I think that's it. Just that and Hades. And then yeah, just doing a lot of
Do
painting a
you
lot of
think
Warhammer
you'll
stuff.
do you think you'll stick with Hades to like complete a run, or do you think when Saros comes out you're gonna swap? I
Well,
guess do
once
you
yeah,
still enjoy Hades? Because you did not enjoy Dead Cells.
yeah, I mean, I like when I stopped, I didn't just like stop to go like, okay, I'm over it. I think I'm trying to remember like when I stopped. It must have been midweek because it was like, okay, now I have to watch The Boys and I have to watch Invincible. It's like it's that thing where just like when Peacemaker and Alien Earth are out, it's like, okay, I got these shows I gotta stop to watch. So I'm not gonna play my games. So I was like watching those drop on the same day, so I gotta be careful of that. And then I had some other content I like to watch. Is out. Oh, that's what I played. I there was like a mobile game ad that popped on my phone. I was like, "Oh, that kinda looks kinda fun." And of course, the game I downloaded wasn't exactly what was being advertised. It was kind of a tower defense thing. I was like, this is not quite the
Did you
same."
actually download one of those games you saw advertised? You actually got one?
I've done that before just to see, like, is this game actually any good? And then when you play them, it's like, they must be made by the same company because they always have the same, you play a bit and it's like, there's an ad. But this is like, more of a tower defense style one, but not it was fine. The problem was it was like, I played it, I'm like, "Okay, there's not enough here to keep me playing," even though there was, like, no ads. It was just like, there isn't enough here to keep me in it. But I was like, this made me wanna try Dome Keeper. So I downloaded the Dome Keeper demo and I played that this week. Because I remember when NL was playing it, I watched a bit of it, but I was like, you know what, I might because Dome Keeper's on sale. I was like, let's play Dome Keeper and see if I like it. So I played the demo of that, and it was okay. I enjoyed what I played, but the problem was I'm like, I don't know how the gameplay loop of this evolves in such a way that would make me keep playing it. Because like it seems like the loop in that I don't know if you did you play Dome Keeper at all?
I don't even know what Dome Keeper is.
Dome Keeper is it's like a game where you have to keep a dome. No, it's like
A
kind
Chrome
of
Dome.
a chrono. It's kind of like a it's a you defend against like waves of alien. You're like on a planet, alien planet. You defend against waves. No, it's like a roguelike action mining game. So essentially, it's like
Oh,
on
it
the
does sound
surface.
familiar, actually.
Yeah, on the it's like pixel art. On the surface, there's a dome, and you like aliens show up, and you have to fight them, and they come in waves. So eventually, it's like, okay, this wave is done, and you go down below, and like you mine out below, like looking for resources. You drag those resources back into the dome. They get chewed up by the machine. You upgrade, rinse and repeat. But it's like, okay, it seems fine, but it's like, all right, there'll be you. The every time you run a new map, it'll be the same thing. You upgrade the speed of your jetpack. You upgrade the speed that you mine. You upgrade your carrying capacity like, it'll be okay, it'll be all the standard upgrades every single time. But I'm like, "Okay, but what advancements are there either to the dome or to how you mine that makes it fun?" And I don't know if it's something that I should, like, look I'm watching, like, this trailer. I went to the Steam page, and there's, like, a trailer for some DLC that came out. I'm like, there's some, like, crazy stuff that the dome does now, and these mining things people do. I'm like, "Okay, but is this fun, these upgrades?" Um, so it's like and it's like a situation where different upgrades for your dome might be better on certain planets than on some. So it's like, oh, on this one you want to upgrade your laser. This one you want to get like a melee weapon. This one because there's more, ground focused enemies or something. So I'm curious, like, what is there that kind of how does the gameplay loop evolve and is it fun? Because if every time I play, it's just upgrade speed, capacity, and mining ability, it's like, well, that's not fun because then I'm just it's like
You're
when
you're doing
StarCraft
the same. route every single time, so it's not really a roguelite or anything at that point. It's just a yeah, I mean, it's just like a single player trying to beat it game.
Right, it's the same upgrades, and it's like, that's what you do every time you do Oni. It's like, okay, I do my layout, I gotta get water, I gotta get food, I gotta get oxygen. It's like, that's the same, sure, but you play it for, like, multiple hours and yada yada. You do civilizations are obviously gonna be very much the same thing, the same setup. You find a ring to set up, you get resources, blah, 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 but it's like everything else leads to but, like, StarCraft used to start with, like in StarCraft 2, you used to have, like, 6 workers, and then you build up to typically 12, and then from 12 workers, you decide, "Okay, what do I do? Do I go this path? Do I do this? Do I build more workers? Do I go economy build? Do I do rush build? Blah blah." When Legacy of the Void came out, they made it to where now everybody starts with 12 workers, I believe. So it's like it skips that first 3 minutes of the game that was super boring. Like the only thing that would happen in StarCraft 2 in those first minutes is just like maybe somebody did a drone rush with 6 drones. Okay, is that exciting? I guess. But it's like, let's skip it and go straight to the action. Straight like, okay, you start with max the good amount of workers, then you go straight from there. It's like it sped up the early game. And I'm like, is there something here that like speeds up that early because I like when I think about Hades, like Hades versus Dead Cells again, is the upgrades. Now the upgrades aren't huge, but they're small. Like, oh, you have more health, you can die once and come back. You have more HP, you get HP when you zone, blah blah blah. Like these little things. And those are permanent. And Saros has, unlike Returnal, has also permanent upgrades that you get. But I like the way from what I've heard from Saros is while there's like a skill tree for these permanent upgrades, there you can only do so many, and then they get locked behind beating bosses. So it's like, okay, you can do a couple upgrades, but now you can't do more until you beat that first boss. So I like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. So it's like you can make yourself better if you're struggling, but only to a certain point, and then you have to beat that boss. That's the skill check. It's like, yeah, you made yourself stronger. You still have to beat this boss. You can't just go infinitely stronger. And so it's like, I'm wondering if Dome Keeper has stuff like that, where it's like, okay, I'll do a new run, but yeah, is it the same? What's different about this planet that, makes my upgrade path different? You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah,
Hmm.
it's because I'm watching this trailer and it's like there's some fun like stuff it's showing, but it's like all clearly end game or like, mid late game stuff. I'm like, okay, but how does the early game evolve on each new planet? But it may be something like, oh, this one has like all weak loose soil, so it's like fast to mine, so I don't need to upgrade the mining tool. Or I don't know. I don't know what they do, but yeah, it's I played and I had fun with what I played initially, but I'm like I just don't see how it would necessarily evolve. But it is on sale, super cheap right now. I think it's only $7. And I know it's good. Like a lot of people like NL played it for a long time. There's another streamer I watch is currently playing it. Like it could be a thing where it's like, okay, I just got to give it some more time, and then I'll enjoy it more past the demo.
It's really
But
interesting which like roguelite type games you enjoy because I feel like you do play a lot that are like roguelite adjacent and you love. And I'd love to figure out like what is the element that actually makes you want to come back? Because you play a shit ton of Oni, and like you said, that's the exact same every single time. So like what's the difference?
yeah, well, that is like, yeah, the seeds randomized. So it's like, okay, the location, the resources, and what types of resources I get are going to be different. The biome layouts, the planets, depending on what planet I pick, is going to be different. I have different biomes. Now it's like I have different strats. Like maybe this one doesn't have much food, so their priority is to get food up and running much quicker or something. So there is that, which I like, but it's like that's like colony sim, and I love that kind of stuff, like getting things up and running, having my dupes do things, yada yada, just having a machine run and I just kinda, like, expand it, like, that's what I like, which is why I didn't like Factorio as much because I had to do everything, and, like, obviously, you can automate it more once you get drones, but it's, like, way later, where this is just, like, I'm commanding the dupes to do what I need them to do, and then making sure they don't kill themselves on accident, because that would be bad, but yeah, I don't know, there could be something there with Dome Keeper. I just, I also don't want to get invested immediately into another game. So I have Hades and Dome Keeper, and then Saros comes out next week, and then I'm like, now I'm just gonna jump over to Saros. Like, I don't want to do that, and then just have games in my backlog that I never finish. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I know Saros is that thing where it's like if you buy the deluxe edition, like the $10 more, you can play it like 2 days early for whatever reason. I don't know why you do that with a single player game. Like multiplayer games make sense. Single player, I don't get it. But I'm like, I'm not gonna
The
do that.
hype
So
train. I
I'll
feel
just
like I
wait
did
till it
that for one of the Resident Evils because Did Resident Evil 4 let you do that? If it was like if you bought it early?
I don't know. I
I've done
can't
it
recall
for
single player games.
I've done it for a few games. Well, I've done it for like one game once for single player, and then usually it's like if you can get early MMO access. I think I did that for one of the MMOs I enjoyed.
Yeah, I think I did that for a Battlefield once. I did it for Concord because I was like I wanted to just play Concord early back in the day, which didn't cost me anything in the end because they refunded me. But yeah, I haven't done it too much. Usually it's multiplayer games that will do it, which is great because then they can server stress test before a game goes live.
Yeah,
Sit through
that's
all the
exactly
queues.
what it actually ends up being.
Yep. But yeah, no, I'll probably just play some more Hades this week, leading up to Saros, which I'm looking forward to playing. But yeah, just between that and painting Warhammer stuff, I'm trying to paint find a good speed method for painting a bunch of my infantry guys. So it's like I don't need to put as much work into them as I do like my elite units. So I'm trying to figure like, okay, what's a good way I can quickly paint these guys and get them like tabletop ready. And I think I found a good method for both my very similar to what I did with my Tyranids, where I'm like, okay, I got a great method for painting just the grunt units. Perfect. Can I apply that to my 2 different Space Marines? And I think I've got a good method for doing so to get them up and running. So I'm excited about that. Gonna finish those guys up, unit of 10, and then do that for my Salamanders, get them up and going too. But yeah, other than that, not too much else. Hopefully we'll both be playing Saros next week, and Zach can talk about 7.5.
Because that's all
Plenty of
I'm
new
gonna
stuff.
do.
That's right.
What's
All
the
right.
next non-Final Fantasy game you're tracking?
Let me check my calendar.
She's like, let me go 3-4 years out. Animal Crossing.
The next Animal Crossing. At which point I will have to
Onimusha.
buy a Switch 2.
The new Silent Hill.
Yeah, scary, but yeah. No, there is supposed to be some kind of playtest or early access soon for a game called Paralives that I've been following for a really long time. It's a very like Sims-esque type of game. So if that actually supposed to be sometime early next month, if that actually goes up without a hitch and I can get into it, I'll probably be playing the hell out of that for quite a while. But most of my calendar is missing. I have to go look at the other thing. But yeah, that's like the biggest thing that I have coming right now. That is probably going to suck up quite a bit of my time.
I want that freaking PBKK game to get a release date, man. It's from the same developers as Dome Keeper Bip and Bits, being
Bip and
published by
Bits.
Kepler Interactives. But yeah, it's like that's a game. That's one I really want to play because it's like similar to you're doing planetary defense, but it's a little more realistic looking, and also it's like you're in the bunker, so you got to do all like that maintenance stuff on the inside. I'm like, that's like my jam. Like I want to do all that stuff and then figure out what the mystery is going on. But there's no. It just Steam lists Q3. I'm like, I don't know if that's accurate, but hopefully it comes out soon because I really want to play that one. And still got a bunch of games on my wish list. I'm just not picking up yet, but I have them on there. All right, well, I'll go ahead and wrap up there. So thank you for all tuning and listening. Thank you, Isli. Thank you, Zai, for joining.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see you all next time.
Later.
Bye.